Okay, and we're live. Hi, my name is Deanne Battle. I am the host of the Composite. This is an impromptu episode, so season 3, episode 10. So this season is actually going to end soon, probably at the beginning of summer. But I didn't do an episode last week. So what is this episode going to be? I might touch on some current events, but I wanted to do a story time. So I didn't get online last week deliberately. And here's why. I had a colleague had an emergency. So my schedule changed again. I'm a community college instructor. Just if for the uninitiated, for whoever might check this out. And so I was just like, okay, you got the long commute or whatever. Just work is fine. Not any problems at work. So I was like, just keep your stuff together, get in the city, get out. And then we got to Thursday, which was the 18th. Yeah, last week. And it took like 3.5, approaching 4 hours to get to work in the morning. And then it took almost equally distant to get back. So it's just kind of like, usually I don't come in on Thursday, but I'm just like, I thought Monday would be the heavy traffic day. What's even going on? I think it might have had something to do with the protest. I'm not sure. All I know is in the moment, I cursed 2 people out. Thursday afternoon. I was so gone. And the funny thing is that I really thought I was holding my shit together. And there's a point to this story. I'll get to it. I really thought I was holding my shit together. It's just, in my car, I've been on this whole spiritual journey, like how can Deanne take things less personally, but also learn to articulate my boundaries and advocate for myself, like in the moment. I'm a writer, so usually I have to like process it, and I'm not that articulate when I'm angry. So I'm like, that puts me at a disadvantage, right? So where can my anger really thrive? Where can I really just say, like stick it to somebody? It's like on the page. But here's the thing about that, right? Not every situation deserves your anger. The second thing would be, not every situation deserves like a soliloquy afterward. And so I'm just at this age now, right, where I've got to level up, right? There are things that I'm trying to accomplish. There are missions. Well, there's one mission, but the mission has multiple parts. There's a mission that I am here to accomplish. Like I understand what my life's purpose is. And I have for a very long time. Even when I felt like my life purpose was impossible and I did other things, I never forgot about it. It always lived right here. And so I've been thinking, like, what are character flaws that I can improve on that can help me get closer to living my purpose? So it's Thursday, driven in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it's Thursday. I'm headed home. And I know I don't have as much gas in my car because I don't have the money. It's just very expensive. So I have to literally calculate like how much money I'm going to spend, like how many miles I'm going to drive, and just parse it out. So that's part of the reason why when I'm not at work, I don't really go anywhere else. I just really can't waste the gas money. Although since I'm writing this week and I need to do research, I will, putt to the library it's only a 10-minute drive. So I'll putt to the library and putt back. But that's all I'm doing. I'm at home. I'm cooking. I'm writing. I'm listening to music. I'm cleaning my apartment. But, this spiritual journey, just to try to clear my headspace, clear the distractions, calm my nervous system, so I can chill the fuck out. It wasn't love and light on Thursday. I cussed those people out so thoroughly. Like, people were just, I was horrified. Like, I'm driving off And I rolled down the window and I just screamed to, I don't know, God or whoever. I was just like, Adams, fix this fucking city. Like, just, and that's, it was much worse than that. So there was the me that like, and then there was the me that was in riding shotgun. And then it was just like, oh dear. Oh my, it is not all love and light in this Nissan Rogue at all. I lost my shit. And so I was stuck near Varick Street, which if you're in New York, why is the traffic directed that way, you know? And so how do you find that balance, right? Because it's like, you know, again, I'm wanting to be a better person, primarily for me, but, you know, also for society. But that was a setback because you shouldn't be cussing random people out. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. However, here's the thing. It was so satisfying. I like to think that a good curse out, it should be satisfying for the cursor and the cursee. Like, there should be a certain point where the person that's getting cussed out, that's just like, wow, you just like going for it. Like, you just don't give a shit. And right. And so then they're either waiting to like throw it back at you, or, you know, they're like, and then they get out of there. And so it's, I'm not, you know, tooting my own horn here. I don't think it was that epic. But I have to say, if I'm thinking about, right, how can I be a less neurotic person? How can I calm my nervous system? How can I release some of the tensions and anxieties that I carry with me? I felt so much better after that, because I still had, so I was stuck there for like 45 minutes or something. And then I got on there, I got through the Holland Tunnel. I think I was still in my car for another 2.5 hours. So I had another 2.5 hours to think about, like, you should not have handled it that way. Like, it was up. I was just like, listen, I'm not going to do what you're telling me to do. If you've got a problem, call a cop. Like, and again, the me that's next, it was like, ooh, this is bad, because you just said something about law enforcement. So I know this is bad right now. But, you know, again, just somebody eventually, you know, let me in. I was able to do what I needed to do. But it's just like, you know, I have to at some point prioritize myself. And they were asking me to do things. If I had have listened to them, it would have added an extra hour to my commute. 5 hours to get home, like, or almost 5 hours to get home. And it's just like, no, I'm not about that shit. So in the moment, I cursed them out. I advocated for myself. And in the 2.5 hours after it, I noticed, wow, I noticed how I felt. Because part of the reason I didn't get on last week is because I've had this pinched nerve right in the base of my neck, and it goes from the base of my neck all the way down here in my shoulder and through my arm. And, you know, initially, because of the placement, I'm like, oh, I just have a sinus headache, whatever. I'll take, you know, Claritin, you know, my medicines. But then it wasn't going away. And I said, let me follow the trail here. And I had this bulge, like my nerve was like bulging. And it's just kind of like, oh my gosh. So I've been like rubbing at it and, you know, trying to rest it, taking like Advil every single day. And Thursday, I cussed those people out. And it just was, and I was able to feel, okay, this is the trail of the pain, right? From the nerve from here going all the way down my arm or whatever. And so why did I have that experience? Where was it coming from? At least two things. The first thing is, apparently I'm left-handed, but apparently I grip the steering wheel so tight that I am, you know, creating an injury here. And I was like, oh, why am I gripping the steering wheel so tight? Stress and anxiety. Another thing that I'm doing, I'm clenching this side of my jaw. Like, I'm basically freaking Jack Sparrow here as I'm driving on I-95. And so went, "Wah," and I cussed those people out, and my jaw dropped. And I said, oh shit, I've been clenching this part of my face so hard, it's causing my neck to just get completely discombobulated. And so here is the point of the story, right? My moral dilemma is, wow, I don't know how to ease that valve. It's either shut or it's completely open. And so I guess, pardon me, I'm starting to sweat here a little bit. I guess for me, the piece of personal growth I really need to think about is how can I release anger, not hold on to anger, but not completely unleash on the world. And yeah, that's just kind of what I'm sitting with. I'm like, hey, not a great day. And that's why I didn't come online, because I'm just like, oh, why would I present myself in a way, how do I phrase this? I guess like a credibility issue. Not like anybody's really watching this right now, but like being consistent is important to me. And I'm like, what level of consistency is there in talking about being a thoughtful person that pays attention, and then someone who can be so callous and vulgar? And I'm learning to, I think, in addition to emotional regulation, folks, I am learning, how do I tap into the shadow part of myself in a way that is helpful, conducive to what I'm trying to do, especially when I'm thinking about my life purpose, but also maybe in a way that's not destructive. I don't know if that makes any sense, right? So this idea that I'm a balance of things, right? I'm not all love and light, and I'm not awful, but perhaps there are elements of the supervillain within me that I can use, because it felt very Ursula, like, who else? I'm trying to, Joan Crawford. Why are hangers? Like, it was deep, y'all. Like, it was so bad. The lady just looked at me, and she just, cause I was irrational. All I knew was I was just like, I can't stay in my car. Like, I need to be free. And that is what my life mission is related to. Like, I want to tell stories. I want to free us, right? Because what I'm realizing is, yes, there have been so many obstacles and roadblocks in my life, but the biggest one is sitting right up here, right? Because if you can't see yourself in particular places or doing particular things, or if people keep telling you you can't be in certain places and do particular things, like if you have, your college advisor telling you that your list is too ambitious, stuff like that. And it's only now at this age that I'm realizing how much I have let that monopolize my life. And I'm so upset, not just at other people, but at myself. And so the screaming is just like, I did a video a while ago talking about this ego death thing that I think I'm going through in a good way. But it's just this frustration of like everything that I've let people take from me, and everything that I have done to make myself small. And I think my shadow self is the part that's pulling all of that and just ripping it to shreds. And so I had a moment, and I thought, it could possibly be helpful for someone. So I thought I would share. But it was not. And I think too, because I don't know how to modulate my anger, that's why I avoid it so much. But then then I'm running around like Jack Sparrow because like I'm clenching my jaw, I'm tensed and tense, and gripping the steering wheel. I'm swallowing bile, which is something I've had one of my characters say before. I am swallowing the bile that the world has given me, and I don't have to. I can let go of that. But as I let go of it, what type of carnage is it going to leave in its wake? Because it's just, it's a different era. Even like dealing with people like, sorry, I'm just kind of tripping over my words here. I was leaving work on Thursday, and it's just, again, like, work is fine. It's just, there's nothing bad happening there. But I just needed to get out. Like, I just needed to go. I was like, oh, I'm going to have, like, all this time and, these stories I want to tell, these stories that I want to work on. Like, this one novel that I just have a new idea for. And so, which is a pain in the butt a lot of times, writers, you'll know if you have multiple ideas going at the same time. Personally, I'm not great at multitasking. I could maybe write 2 different projects at a time, but I can't have a ton of stuff going at the same time. But that's what I know, but my mind does not cooperate because these ideas, they come and they come. And I'm just like, oh, I have this idea. It could be a series. This could be great. And for me, it's a new moment because I don't really know how to write genre fiction. So it's like I've got to learn a new set of skills. And then I'm like, oh, if she's killing people, I'm like, maybe I need to do an internship with a butcher so I understand how a knife can cut through the flesh. And a different story, I'm like, I've got to learn Arabic so I can write. Like, so it's not, when you sit down to write a book, right? For me, it's project management. Like, if there are all these other little different facets that go into it, it's not just, oh, I'm just sitting here typing. I really enjoy the research because it's like I'm building a world. Like, it's really, it's the closest thing to our creator that I will ever be. And so those moments, in a humble way, not like, oh, I think I'm God or whatever, but no, it's just that I've created this thing in this place. Like, what can he or she do, giving them a spirit and giving them their own set of moral, dilemmas and desires and speech patterns and the way they dress and everything, and so that is what I had to look forward to. But in the moment, it was really so hard to be firm and assert myself, but not be a psycho. And there's something about this particular moment in time that it feels like it's making it more difficult. I feel like there's more discord online. It seems like there are more people that are blackfishing, more people that have that are paying for bots or paid trolls and things like that. And so everything is like these absolutist comments, like like for instance, X, because there's a lot of just BS on X. But I don't know, as a writer, where else you go that's so... X is really the only platform that has a cross section of all the writers and scholars, some activists, poets, whoever. Like, I'm looking for very specific things, article recommendations, literary magazines, contests, and things like that. And none of these other platforms have been able to duplicate that for me. So I'm still in the cesspool, but nevertheless, people will put up statements like, anyone who thinks gold is better than silver is depraved. Like, just these absolutist bullshit, like, intellectually dishonest statements. And it's like, oh, this is just for clicks, man. Like, nothing is real. Nothing is real. And so it just feels like, okay, online, I'm floating around in a space that's not, I don't know what's going on. Our students, when we at school, a lot of them are struggling. And so it's like, you're swallowing this bile. Where is the pressure valve? Because I haven't found it. I don't know if you found it. Let me know. But I don't know where the pressure valve is. And so it's like, how do I acknowledge the balance within me, right? I am a highly empathetic person, but I'm also an asshole. Like, really an asshole. Which brings me back to the story about work, because, I was just like, I want to get out of here. And so I'm leaving, and they were in the middle of a meeting, a little huddle, but, I just wanted to wave. Like, I was always taught that, if you're in a room, if there are other people in the room, you don't just like leave and you don't say anything. You should say goodbye. And so I'm leaving, and I went, bye everybody, have a great break. And I didn't mean for the tone to come out like that, but I was just like, bye, I'm leaving, basically. And they all started laughing. They were like, yeah, Deanne, you're not coming in next week, so you don't have to deal with any of this. And I was like, oh wow, I'm an asshole. I am. Radical transparency and hard truths. I, Deanne Battle, am an asshole. And I'm finally okay with that, because I was just like, she was like, yeah, you're like, peace out. And I was like, rah, yes. But that's the thing, it wasn't directed at them. It was, I needed the pressure valve off, a lot of times when I'm thinking about some of the earliest memories that I've had and stuff like that, I've just always been so serious. I just want to have fun. I'm just at a point now, I just want the light and the buoyancy that life is supposed to offer. And so my writing is giving me that, as I'm working on this new project. And hopefully I can bring more love and light in than assholishness, but it's really, 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 really hard. And so I just wanted to do an episode and acknowledge that. But yeah, that was a rough moment. Other things here. Oh, excuse me. This is super random, and I think I'll probably log off after this. But, again, right, one of the things I was talking about, calming my nervous system. And as I calm my nervous system, you start to see art differently. Hold on a second. I'm pulling up my iPad because I want to show you guys something. So, hi. Okay, so as I was talking about, like you grow, you change, and then the art that you maybe consumed as a kid, you're seeing it differently, right? And this is an example. So what am I pulling up? This was not this Saturday that just passed, not the 20th, but the 13th, right? I guess. Yeah. So I was just, in my apartment dancing, singing, and stuff like that. And I got into a 90s groove. I was like, I just want to hear 90s stuff. So it was mostly, grunge alternative, like Alanis Morissette, that Counting Crows, that one song. And I wanted to hear the Mr. Jones song, because I was just like, oh, these songs, I don't know the lyrics. So I listened to the Mr. Jones song, and I was like, okay, as I was singing along, I was like, okay, I can figure this one out. And after that, I played Heart-Shaped Box. And I was in the middle of a verse, and I said, oh shit, you never really knew what this song was about, Deanne. Like, never. And, I was a little disappointed in myself. I like to think that I'm an intelligent person. I'm a writer. I live in the world of allegory, right? I can get stuff. No, I didn't know this whole time what I was saying. Okay, so let me do this. I pulled up the words. Okay. All right. I've got an iPad in one hand and a phone in the other. Thoughts and prayers, folks. Thoughts and prayers. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Now, so I'm singing the song, and like I said, I stopped mid-verse. And I stopped mid-verse because Kurt Cobain's pain was so loud, as I'm, working through my own stuff. I'm very aware, and sensitive to that from others. And so I was like, oh, wow, is he saying what I think he's saying? Now, the interesting thing is, as a quick summary, right, a lot of people are like, oh, this song is about Courtney Love and, a toxic relationship, with Courtney Love or whatever. Or, I think she made a joke and said it was about her vagina. No. Let's take a look. And only for a few minutes here. So, she eyes me like a Pisces when I am weak. I've been locked inside your heart-shaped box for weeks. I've been drawn into your magnetar pit trap. I wish I could eat your cancer when you turn black. All right, so I wasn't paying attention, made it through that. And then, hey, wait, I got a new complaint. Forever in debt to your pride. I said, he's talking to his mother. What the hell? So then I go back and look at this song, right? Because there's a she and there's a your, right? So we know that the person singing, in my opinion, is talking about two different people. He's having a conversation either in person or on the phone with one person. And he's talking about the she, which would be, a wife, girlfriend, something like that. So she eyes me like a Pisces. I'm just now learning more about astrology. And a couple of people I've heard said that Pisces are stereotyped as the stalkers of the zodiac. So this first line here, his lover is a predator, right? Because he's weak. And then here, I've been locked inside your heart-shaped box for weeks. I interpreted that as his mother wasn't talking to him or was ignoring him or something. So just there was a holding pattern, right? I'm not able to get to you. But then here, I've been drawn into your magnet tar pit trap. I wish I could eat your cancer well when you turn black. And so as I kept going through the song and I might be wrong about this, but what it feels like to me, he's conflating. I'm sorry, I keep messing around with this. I'll turn the screen back in a second. For me, it feels like he's conflating the toxicity of his relationship with shit that he's never healed from in terms of his relationship to his mom. And so I'm going to show you in a second another thing that leads me to believe that he's talking to his mother. But see, this part here, I've got a complaint. I'm forever in debt to your priceless advice. Well, what did she advise him to do? I think she was saying that he needed to grow up and be a man, start a family, all that jazz. And he's like, no, this is terrible, So let's look at this part here, right? I'm just going to look at those last two lines in the verse. Broken hymen of your highness, I'm left black. Throw down your umbilical cord noose so I can climb right back. So for me, that's also a really, For me, that's a huge indicator that he's talking to his mom too, right? Because if you're talking to a wife, girlfriend, whoever, you're not going back into her womb. That's not where you came from. You came from your mother. So I said, holy crap, this is, if I were a wife, girlfriend, or a mother of the person whose pain is this loud, I would, this is a gut punch. I was like, wow. So, I'm what, 30 years late, whatever, super late, but I've got to listen to Nirvana's catalog again. I've got to check them out again because it's just a lot of the stuff I'm like, I didn't know what I was singing. There was that, and then yeah, I was just going back through that 90s archive and listening to those songs, and I'm like, what did I think this was about? um it's a revelatory, period of time for me. Indulge me, hopefully. Be patient. All right. And I hope all is well. And I'll go live again tomorrow. But for now, this has been season 3, episode 10 of The Composite. And thanks so much for the person that checked this out for a little bit. And to anybody that might check out the replay on Instagram or YouTube. All right. Take care.